Welcome everyone to Do More, Be More. Today's video is going to be starting off in my car. We're going to do short segments of my videos throughout different parts of my day, probably on a different couple of days. And what we're going to talk about is the difference between being healthy and losing weight. Are they the same? Are they different? Do they cross paths at all? We're going to find out. That is coming up right now. And we're rolling. Basically, I'm not going to wait for the video. Welcome everyone to Do More, Be More. Oh, come on, don't tell me this thing is still on. So I'm on the treadmill, which normally I would say that I hate because I hate to run. I absolutely hate to run. But knowing that cardio is good for your heart, hence the word cardio, cardiovascular, I decided to spend a little more time doing cardio. So one of the things that I've heard a lot has been commonly used is that you do about 150 minutes of cardio a week. It's pretty good for you. So I do an average of 30 minutes a day, which puts me at a minimum at least over that amount. So as far as the difference between being healthy and wanting to lose weight, even though this is not related to diet necessarily, it has to do more with being healthy, because I want my heart to be healthy. Because even if I'm losing all the weight in the world and I have the best looking abs and the biggest biceps, it all means nothing if you're only gonna live until 40. So that's something to think about. Okay, so here's another thing about being healthy and wanting to lose weight. You are the only person responsible for your meal plan and how you eat. So when you go to someone else's house, you can't expect them to cater to what you want. You have a couple of options. And the way that I see it is, you either, you be a good sport and you make some space to have some food, and you go and you eat openly whatever they're offering you, because you also don't want to be rude. And then you have a couple of meals, like a small meal beforehand. This is when something like the protein bars get very handy. And if you have something like that that's high on protein, low calorie, you don't have to feel so bad about having foods that are not low calorie dense and high in protein later, because you already got that in the bank beforehand. And you can also plan on what you're going to have after that. So it's all a matter of thinking ahead of time. You can also, some people also do this, may or may not choose to do this. They'll eat before they go out. When you do that, you also avoid the opportunity of resisting temptation because you're full. Something I like to do if you have a lot of diet soda, because it's zero sugar, zero calorie, I should say, and usually it's because it's zero sugar. And if you do that, you end up you're full, and you don't really have the desire to have other foods. So that's an option, just letting you know. I also decided to go for a walk during my lunch break, as I normally do, but I went back and I realized I forgot to bring a yogurt that I normally bring from home. So I had to go to the gas stop and get one. Just to give you an example of what a healthy food is, and it's also good for building muscle, and then keeping low calories, is this one. It's one of my favorite foods. It's going to be the Light and Fit Greek yogurt. It's got 80 calories and 12 grams of protein. So it's good in the sense that it's low in calories, so it's good for those people who want to eat less and lose weight. Also high in protein, so you can build muscle. And it's got healthy components that will, like the healthy bacteria, like any yogurt does, help with like antioxidants and things of that sort. So it's got a bit of everything in that sense. There are foods that are going to be probably just good for the weight loss, or just good for being healthy, or just good for building muscle. When you're able to find something that combines all the aspects that you need to fulfill your goal and being healthy all at the same time, that's when you know you found the right food. Not everything is going to be like that, but you do your best, and you do your research, and you find the right products. So on with the video. And just so you know, the benefit of having, which way is the lens? There it is. In case you're wondering why it's important to have high protein, low calories, because if you eat in a low enough calorie number, at the end of the day, when you still want to eat, no, there's nothing wrong with eating late. But if you're still hungry, like today, for example, for me, I had 1,450 calories, and I had about 190 grams of protein, because I planned it well, and I just have it for the week. And then when I get home,
I have a lot of more, several more calories that I can go. And I'm having some chips. Not because I'm trying to pig out or I'm feeling frustrated. I want to eat my feelings away. And it's not a flex either. Like, oh, look, I'm building muscle and I'm also having potato chips. It's more because I don't want to wait to have to feel like I'm going crazy to have chips, simply because I just want to have chips. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to have the entire bag. It also doesn't mean that I'm just having it for the video and then 2 seconds later I'm going to spit it out. It's all about a matter of balance. And if I pass my calorie range today, where I am in a deficit, who cares? Because even after deficit, you're still at maintenance. Then you finally get into surplus. So enjoy what you're doing. That way you can come back the next day. When you're not enjoying it, that's when 1 week, 2 weeks after that, it sounds endless. So just make sure you're enjoying what you're doing. Have a balance between healthy and productive for your goals. And above all, make it taste good.
All right. So basically, the difference between being healthy and losing weight, it's not a huge difference, but you also can be on each of them very separately. So you have to really be careful about how you go about it. This doesn't mean that you're gonna have to do a bunch of note taking and homework and all that extra work. And I don't want that to be discouraging to you. I just want to let you know, to do this correctly, yeah, it does require a little effort, but when you make the effort, it's always going to be worth it. Now, I am more than happy to go into detail, but I'm gonna avoid doing that when it's not necessary. Basically, in a nutshell, if you are looking to lose weight, yeah, the only way to do that is to be in a calorie deficit. To be healthy basically means to eat healthy foods. Can you be in a calorie deficit while being in a healthy diet? Of course, that's one of the more known ways of doing that. Now, can you be eating healthy and not be in a calorie deficit? Of course, as well. There's a lot of foods that are really healthy, that have a lot of great micronutrients and have an excess of other macronutrients that will make it high in calorie. So if you think of like peanut butter, think about avocados, bananas. These are all foods that are known for being good for you, but if not measured correctly, they can cause a lot of high calorie intake, and you'll end up being in a calorie either maintenance level or surplus level, and that's where you start to lose weight. To gain weight. If you want to be in a calorie deficit, you have to find ways around it, or you can find ways to include these foods within your calorie numbers for your daily intake so that you can have them and also be in a deficit so that you can lose the weight. It's important to know how to do this because anybody can lose weight by having, let's say, 1900 calories and eating 3 Big Macs, which is about 600 calories, and being a total of 1800 calories for the day. So the person can have 3 Big Macs for the entire day and be completely in a way that they can lose fat every single day. I mean, if you have 3 Big Macs every day, but that's all you eat, you will lose weight if 1900 is your calorie deficit number. So yeah, you can lose weight and not be healthy. The question is, do you want to lose weight and not be healthy? Like, are people looking to purposely not be healthy and still lose weight? That kind of sounds like you're lazy, or you have you have yet to grow up and learn about the benefits of eating as well. It's not just about losing weight. Also the benefits that all these foods can bring to the table. So it's a matter of balance, really. Now, as I grew up, I didn't like all the healthy foods. Now I do. Not all of them. There are still some foods that I don't like, and I will still maybe keep them away. I still make sure that one of the most important things that I'm watching right now, because of my current goal, is the calories and the protein. I also include the other macronutrients. You're going to see a lot of fitness vloggers, YouTube vloggers, TikTok vloggers that are basically always telling you the calories and the protein amount. And some will tell you the fat and the carbs. Macros are important and you need to know them, yes. Carbs are good for energy, fats are good for nutrient absorption, and protein is good for muscle recovery.
But there's a bunch of other things that are really good for you too. You know, calcium, vitamin D, potassium. They're all good for their own things. And if you're being deficient on those things, iron, niacin, thiamine, there are things that they're good for. And if you're taking them, you might as well, you reap the benefits of having the foods that give you other nutrients as well. If you want to lose weight, yeah, you don't have to have all these things, but why not? And if you don't like the way they taste, just broaden your horizons. Learn to cook with these foods in a way that they can taste good. If you don't like your food, of course, you're not going to have it. I mean, I remember hating spinach. I include spinach in a lot of things now. I didn't like broccoli. I still don't like broccoli on everything, but I will throw it in a lot of dishes as much as I can when I can. I still don't like Brussels sprouts. I have yet to learn how to do that. But if there are dishes that you like that are actually healthy for you, include them in your diet if you're looking to be in a calorie deficit. If you want to be in a calorie surplus, by all means, have the other foods that are higher in calorie. But always remember, if you're going to be in a calorie surplus, you don't want to go overboard either. Just like if you don't want to lose too much fat, you also don't want to gain too much weight either, because you're going to end up gaining more fat than actual muscle. And if you're doing way too much cardio, you're not having enough protein, you're kind of losing your muscle as well. I'll go into the details of muscle in a different video, but as far as losing weight and gaining weight and maintaining weight, you also want to make sure that you're always doing that in a healthy way. Exercise is going to be super important too. I mean, for some reason, people seem to think that that's an option. I'm not here to tell you have to exercise every day. I'm not saying you have to do a push, pull, and leg routine like I do. You don't have to have a specific split. But if you're not exercising at least a little bit, if you're going to work and you're just sitting down all day, and then you go home and watch TV, and then you go eat something, and you go sit down again, yeah, your muscles are not going to be tested, and then you're not going to want to do anything because your muscles don't know what it's like. So if you give yourself a little bit of training, a little bit of exercise, your muscles aren't going to hate you when you do it. It's all about letting it get used to things. No one is telling you to run for 2 hours a day or to do insanity videos, because honestly, I think people that do insanity are insane. Nah, I'm just saying, really. It's a lot of cardio. So if you do all that cardio and you're not feeding the muscles, you can lose a lot of it. So ultimately, watch out for all those things. You don't need to know it by tomorrow. Start learning little by little. You start off with the macros. Learn about being in a calorie deficit. Learn to include the foods that taste good to you. Learn to include the foods that are good for you in those things. And if you're doing that with a high protein intake, there's no need to rush. You don't need to. I mean, if you're giving yourself a diet it's for like a wedding, or to fit in a certain outfit, or to look good for a certain photo shoot, like the people that do that and they have to do that, I get it, it's for their work. But if you don't have to, you're gonna end up, if you don't reach the goal, you're gonna end up feeling bad about yourself. You're gonna end it there because that was the end game of it all. But if you include it as a part of your lifestyle, it'll be a lot more enjoyable. You'll actually put more effort into making the foods taste better, and instead of just saying, I'm gonna go all out, I'm gonna do 2 hours of cardio 5 days a week, and I'm gonna have broccoli and chicken. No one wants to do that. I don't do that. I don't think I've done that in maybe over a year or 2 years already. And if I've ever done it recently, it's because I just felt like it. And if you are thinking that is the road to success, just do everything hardcore for 2 months. After those 2 months, you're going to quit, and you're not going to build up to the goals that you thought you were going to, and you may not even make it to the 2 months. It's torture. One of the best things about life is being active and enjoying the best foods on earth. And if you're not doing that, you're depriving yourself of that. There's no way you're going to continue and do it. You're going to want to go back to having Cheetos watching Netflix for 2 hours. Nothing against Cheetos, but of course, if you include it in your calorie goals, have whatever you want. Just remember to include what is good for you as far as building muscle, losing weight, and overall living a long, healthy life. That is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the content. I'm trying to do a little bit different. I'm trying to have some different settings. This is where I normally do my videos, but I'm just trying to have a little bit more of a different look to give you some variety. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, leave them there below as well. Any suggestions that you have for me, anything that you want me to talk about in the future, always leave them in the comments. I appreciate all the feedback. Remember to follow me on TikTok, on Facebook, and on Instagram. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, if you do more, you will be more.